Right, now we're going to talk about public domain movies. Now I want you to think about something here for a minute. People love old movies, they really do. Old movies appeal to a lot of people. Remember, I've said this a number of times, nostalgia sells. They have an awful lot of public domain movies and films and TV shows and cartoons and so on here that you could potentially earn from. So you can search and go through their site here and see what they've got. You can see they've got all sorts of films and TV and so on. So you can do a search. Oh, lovely, hope it's in you. I love it when it does that. And you can pick a category. I mean, let's put in. I have no idea. Let's just pick a category: science fiction, horror, and search. Because we know that science fiction is incredibly popular. So you can see here, there's all sorts of science fiction shows there. Some of them, 1960, 1959. These may or may not be in the public domain. You'd have to check to be absolutely sure. But it's on 1942, 1947. But people who are into science fiction, into this sort of thing, are basically going to want to buy this. I mean, just as a here you are. Here's a quick business idea. You convert all these old movies to DVD, you burn them onto DVD, you set up a site selling them, you create a load of physical products and go along to sci-fi conventions and sell them. And I guarantee people will buy these. They'll absolutely love them because people do enjoy this sort of movie. People that are fanatical about this will really want to buy the old stuff. I mean, look at that, Murder at the Baskervilles. I mean, that's 1929, so chances are that may well be in the public domain. You'd have to be 100% sure. I mean, here you are, here's a silent one, Nosferatu, 1922. That is in the public domain. So you can take that and you can create a DVD. I mean, use a website like Kunaki's a good one to do print on demand, and you set up an entire business based around selling niche sci-fi movies to people. Fantastic niche, fantastically profitable. So you can see there's idea after idea after idea here. I mean, you could sit and spend your life working in public domain and make an absolute fortune. But this is just one of the sites so far, and you can see there's potentially a massive amount of information here. Okay, and here's another one. This is the public domain movie database. I think you got to join to actually see anything useful in here. But you can see there's a lot of, this is basically full of public domain information. I mean, if I click on that, you can see here some of the stuff that's in the public domain. So you can see that there's quite a lot. Again, look, martial arts. Again, martial arts. People who are into martial arts love to buy martial arts movies. They are probably a big collector of it. And by the way, I've been told by someone that most Bruce Lee films are actually in the public domain, but I'd have to check that to be 100% sure. So you can see there's a lot of information here. You'd have to join the site. I don't believe they charge for access. I'm not sure. I mean, let's click on the join button now and see what it says. Can't be bothered. But you can see it's a potential source of material. I mean, look at these cartoons. People collect cartoons. Musicals. People love old musicals. Comedy. You've got niche after niche after niche here that potentially you could be making money from. I mean, any of these. You can create a website based around these movies. You can either sell the collection on DVD, or you can sell it as a membership site or one-off payment access or whatever you want. But there's potential there. Lots of it. Again, here's another one, Openflix. It's a directory of movies commonly thought to be in the public domain, so you may want to check to be absolutely sure. But there's all sorts of potential here again. So let's click on sci-fi and fantasy. Again, fantastic. Buy DVD. This links to Amazon products, but there's nothing to stop you putting these on Kanaki and selling them yourself. Or failing that, you can You burn them all onto discs, you create nice discs, nice packages, you take them along to sci-fi conventions, and people will buy them. They'll bite your arm off. Now, here you are, you can see copyright notes here. Film was copyright 1959, there is no renewal record, so that means that is in the public domain. But look, it says you've got to be careful because there is a 1995 version that has additional copyrighted material that you can't use. But there's another one here. It's a Bela Lugosi film. Those are very, very popular. And again, lots and lots of information here for you. So you can go through and pick out these movies and use them to basically for you to be able to earn money. I mean, what a fantastic idea. I mean, again, westerns. People who are into westerns love them and want to buy old movies. So again, this is quite a good site because it gives you some good information, but it doesn't always tell you. So this one, they're not sure what the copyright protection is, so you'd have to do your research before you could use these. But lots and lots of information. You can see many of these don't appear to be on DVD either. Okay, so you could release these on DVD and people would want to buy them. I mean, you can even get your products listed on Amazon. You could release these, find these public domain movies and release them on Amazon through print on demand at Kunaki, and there you are. You have a business with one of the world's biggest sites. So potential, wow. Okay, now here's another site. This is basically it's Buyoutfootage.com. It's quite interesting. It's a lot of public domain stock footage. So this is things like newsreels, military, NASA, classic cartoons, some Christmas stuff, and religious programs, and so on and so forth. So this is stock footage. So this should be quite useful. I mean, here you are, just looking at this site. Here's an idea, and if any of you would like to run with this idea, please drop me a line and let me know how well you did with it. What about taking a selection of material from this site and creating specific DVDs of major events from years of people were born? So, if someone was born in 1963, for example, you could take a lot of information from here, cut them all together, put in some relevant, public domain music as well from the same era, and there you are. You have a lovely present for somebody. Lovely birthday gift, a DVD of footage and programs from the year that they were born. I mean, how fantastic is that? People would love that. People do love that. So there's an idea, and it's all free. All you need to do is sit down with a video editor, put it all together, create the DVD, and you're laughing, absolutely laughing. So again, this is a good site. Go through it and have a look. The potential is absolutely massive. Here's another one, Emol, emol.org.movies. Lots and lots and lots and lots of movies, and most of these you can use. Look, there's Sherlock Holmes movies, TV episodes, there's movies, crime, mystery, drama, etc, etc. So you can see, again, lots of sci-fi, very popular niche, music videos. So there's a lot of information here that you could use. You can use these movies. So they're legal to transfer. There you are. So you can have a good look through these and find some really, really good programs that you can create physical discs from, or create a membership site around. There's just massive potential. There really, really is with this. I mean, more and more people now have a broadband connection, and a fast broadband connection to their house. So the potential is people want to watch video online. So of course you can provide it to them with this. Again, here's another one. This is a NASA site. So this has many different pieces of video from NASA, which again you may use in on a website, you may use in a video. I don't know what you'd use it for, is up to you, but there's potential here for you to do all sorts of things with what they've got here. I mean, let's face it, NASA has so many videos and photos and everything, the potential is huge. So yeah, have a think about it and think about what you could use this for. But you can see here we've looked at a number of different video sites and we've only scratched the surface. There are many more out there that you could potentially use. So don't feel you're limited to just the few that I've shown you. But remember, if you're in any doubt and is not 100% sure, check the copyright of the product. The video. You've got to make sure that it's in the public domain, because if you don't, then potentially you're going to open yourself up to legal action, and you really don't want that, because if it's owned by a big corporation, they've got a lot more money than you to throw at solicitors and lawyers in order to sue you. So, you know, watch yourself. But for saying that, many of these are in the public domain and you can use them, and there's a lot of very popular movies from the last 90 years that you can still use and sell because they are in the public domain. So, you know, use this resource because the potential is huge. I mean, let's face it, we've been here together for, you know, what, 15 minutes maybe for this video. I don't think it's been a massive length of time, and we've already come up with lots and lots of ideas for money-making businesses. So you can see the potential is absolutely stunning. Okay, we're now going to talk about public domain audio. There's an awful lot of resources for audio, and here's one, radiolovers.com. It's basically lots and lots of old time radio shows. Now you may think, well, nobody listens to these anymore, but let's face it, what are these? They're effectively, and you know, not being funny here, they're effectively podcasts and, you know, MP3s. You know, they're just of old radio shows, and people do like these. More people own MP3 players, you know, including the older generation. So, you know, there's a big market for this, for people who, you know, like this sort of thing, who want to listen to it. But again, you could take this, you know, I'm going to go back to sci-fi again. You could take these, you can convert them onto a CD, present them nicely, and sell them at sci-fi conventions. You know, you will make money from it. So, you know, this one's on Buck Rogers. You know, you can see there isn't many. Yes, there isn't many episodes, but there's some, and you could put this together, you know, as an audio CD and sell to a Buck Rogers fan. Same with any of the many others that are here. Yeah, there are lots and lots of other sci-fi shows that you could do the same with. Yeah, Batman again. Batman's very popular at the moment, so you could easily, very easily, put together, you know, some of these into into a nice package. You know, Flash Gordon again, Frankenstein. Yeah, potential, lots and lots of it. So, you know, think about what you can do with this. Again, you know, if you spend, you know, $1,000 taking a load of these and a load of the videos for sci-fi, burn them all onto DVD and CD, you know, publishing them, put your website address on them, link it all up to print on demand, go round to sci-fi convention and set up a stand. You can make a killing with this sort of stuff. You really could. You set yourself up as you know, nostalgicsci-fi.com, or, you know, sci-fi blast from the past, sci-fi from the past, something like that. And, you know, huge potential for you to earn from this, because again, people will collect this and they'll absolutely love to get their paws on it. So, you know, here's one site with an awful lot of potential, and you see there's a couple of other collections here as well, you know, the adverts up here. So lots and lots of potential for you to make money from this. Yeah, already we're on the first site, and already there's, you know, pound signs and dollar signs whizzing around as we think of all the potential that's in front of us. Here's another site for us, Librivox.com. Their goal is to, as you can see down here, their goal is to record all the books in the public domain. So basically, they're providing you, they're volunteers who read the books and put them into the public domain. So again, you know, if you look through the catalogue, there's loads and loads of books here that you can use. So, you know, providing the quality is good, you won't have a problem. Let's do recently catalogued. New releases. So you can see here, all of these are books that are in audio format, and there's many, many more. You know, I'm sure you could probably find some Sherlock Holmes. There's Edgar Allan Poe, Shakespeare. Yeah, all of these. You know, you can create sites with the public domain books themselves, and you could upsell the audio version. I mean, let's face it, people will pay for it. You don't have to charge a fortune for it, but you can, you know, charge them for it. So you can see there's massive potential here, absolutely massive potential. I mean, this is great that they've taken the time to convert them into audio books, but it means it's a potential money spinner for you. I mean, I could take, if I was selling a product on something, I could take a couple of these audio books, I could use them as bonuses, I could use them as a gift for people to sign up to my list, you know, anything like that, and it will work for me. You know, there's massive potential. So, you know I keep saying there's massive potential here, and there really, really is. You can see that, you know, there is so much in the public domain, and we're talking tens of millions of works that, you know, if not more, to be perfectly honest. You know, you can see that there's so much you could do with this. It's absolutely amazing. Here's another old time radio show. You can see the address here at the top. This is more old time radio that, again, you can use for whatever you want. They're in the public domain. So you can see here there's some Sherlock Holmes that's been read, there's Superman, Christmas Carol, and so on. There's some just in here. So you can see there's lots and lots of potential. So you know, you can see that there is so much in the public domain. It's really not even real, to be perfectly honest. It's crazy how much of this stuff is available for you, and it's all free of charge. I mean, here's another site, classiccat.net. I mean, honestly, look at this. This is 6,000 free classical music performances. You can take these, you can put them together as a disc, sell the CD. You could put it together as a website. Yeah, you could create a website about Beethoven, for example. You can have put these recordings on there, sell them, whatever it might be. You know, it's you know, huge, absolutely huge. There is so much here that you could use, you could do. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. Yeah, and a lot of sheet music's in the public domain as well. So what you could do is you could take the recording, you could take the sheet music, put it together, and you've got a product to sell. You know, or you could, whatever, yeah, any combination of it, if you like. But you know, it really, really blows your mind when you sit there and think about how much of this stuff is in the public domain that anyone can use. I mean, I've said before, remember, many of Walt Disney's movies are based on public domain materials, and how much money's he made. You know, it's crazy, absolutely crazy. But you know, you could use this site. There's a lot of potential here for you. I mean, search through, you know, use it how you want. You know, create a fan site about a classical author, a classical composer. You know, you could create several sites, one about each composer. You could include their sheet music, their music to download, monetize it all with either adverts like this from Google, or adverts like this from places like Amazon or other related websites, if you like. So an awful lot of potential. And of course, you know, you can see here they've got categories, so you can actually target specific categories. You might target opera fans, or religious music fans, or organ music fans, or chamber quartets, or whatever. You know, there's you can break this down into niches however you want in order to maximize your profit. Really, really can. So, you know, you can see here what the potential is for you. So this is all different types of audio, and of course there's lots of other types of public domain audio as well. There's sound effects, there's animal noises, bird recordings, and so on. All of those are available to you in the public domain from various websites. So, you know, you can do anything you want with it and create some incredible websites. Okay, now let's talk about public domain images and photos. Now these are very, very good. I mean, one thing that I've done very successfully is I've taken public domain pictures and I've converted them into pictures you hang on your wall. People love them. I've printed out NASA photos and various other nice public domain photos. I've taken them down to sales, tabletop sales, places like that, and I've sold quite a lot of them. I don't tend to sell them online myself because shipping a photograph in a frame is a bit awkward, but you can certainly either create a site around the pictures. You could use the pictures in your artwork, in your websites. You could use them for covers for your DVDs and audio CDs based on public domain materials. It's up to you. But what you can see here is this is basically a US government library. Many other governments will have similar libraries, but you can see here, okay, read this, okay, most of the images are in the public domain and can be used however you want. However, some may have licenses on them, so read the disclaimers on each site first. So you can see, I mean, let's just click on Earth as Art, for example. This is images from the Landsat 7 satellite, and you'd have to have a look at the image credits and how to obtain high resolution images there. But let's pick North America, and you can see here you've got some fantastic photos. Let's just click on that picture. So you can see, isn't that nice? So if you click on it, you can get a high resolution image. That's quite intriguing. So you can see there's a lot of potential here. That's just one of these sites. Let's go to the Grand Canyon National Park, for example. Again, look at these photos. I mean, if you live near the Grand Canyon, here's a great one. If this is somewhere you live near, you print out a picture like this. You get it done on canvas or something. You set up a little stand next to the Grand Canyon, and you sell these day in and day out to tourists. I mean, look at these pictures. I mean, you got pictures of condors here as well. I mean, these are incredible pictures. They're the sort of pictures that people who visit somewhere like the Grand Canyon would love to have, but cannot take. I mean, this one here, for example, I mean, it's a huge picture. It's a good high resolution image, but you can see it's taken from what looks like to be halfway up the side of the Grand Canyon. There's no way that a tourist would be able to take a decent picture like this, but you could take this picture, print it out onto canvas or just on photograph paper, make it look good, and then shove it into a frame and sell it. You can sell this on you can sell these on any tourist spot. Doesn't matter where you live. But you can see there's lots and lots of these pictures. I mean, you could use these. I mean, silly things. You can use these on the internet, and you could do something where people can put their picture in and say, "I've been here," and then print the picture out themselves. There's lots you can do. I mean, just look at those photos. I mean, they're good, high quality, good resolution photos, and they're all public domain. So you can use them anywhere you want, and you can get the whole lot on high resolution photos for $10 plus shipping. So that's not bad at all. But I mean, there's so much here. You got NASA again, more NASA, National Institute for Health, the Park Service. I mean, I know the Park Service has got some great photos, but you can go through these sites and you can use these sites for anything you want. So let's pick a park. I mean, I don't know many of the United States parks. I'm afraid many of these are unfamiliar to me, which is a crying shame. But I know Yellowstone, don't we all? So let's go and have a look. Digital image. You can see here's all of the images. So you can look there, and that will show you. There's our new window opening, and this will show us a load of pictures from it. So we can go through and we can use some of these pictures. But there's many different niches, different opportunities. Let's just go back one more. So you know, there's an awful lot of potential here. You've got the oceanic and atmospheric administration. Lots of pictures of sea. I mean, you sell that to sailors. You know, people who are into boats. The Smithsonian. So these images, and there's the Yellowstone Park there itself. But these images aren't just to be used as printing out and selling as images. You use them on your website when you're looking for a graphic and you're thinking, well, what picture could I use? You can use them on CD covers, in books, whatever. There's lots and lots of potential here for using these images. I mean, there really, really is. Pretty much all of them are free for you to use. So, you know, come along, have a look and use them. I mean, let's face it, they're free, and there's thousands, I mean, thousands and thousands of images here on everything you can possibly imagine. So, yeah, it's a fantastic resource. Okay, now here's a site. It's davidramsey.com. It's a collection of maps from the 18th, 19th century, which are in the public domain. Look at this. I mean, these are the sort of maps that people love to have printed out and put on their walls. Failing that, you can use them on all sorts of websites. I mean, you can use these for all sorts of things. It shows you the wealth distribution. So fantastic. Again, maps are very, very collections. You can see you can search and you look in specific areas, and you can see you've got different types of maps there as well. So, you know, a lot of potential here for using maps. Again, you know, lots and lots. You can see lots you can do with these, an awful lot. But again, how you use them is up to you. The potential is huge, but what you do with them, you know, so don't just think, oh, I've got to print them off, that's the only thing I can do. It's not. There's many more things you can do with these. Okay, and here's another one. This is an Australian site, National Library of Australia. You can see that there are, you can do an all search. You can search for online images, and let's just put in fish, see what comes up. But many of these are public domain again. So again, this is what I wanted to show you here, is that you're not just limited to pictures of the United States. Yeah, I could be creating a website about, for example, I don't know, about Australia. I could find these pictures and I could use some of these pictures in my website. You know, there's all sorts of pictures and drawings. There you are, see? So you can see that these pictures can be used to help illustrate a website for you. You know, if I'm doing a tourist site on a particular area in Australia, for example, I may come here and get these images and use these images to help illustrate the site, rather than having to fly over there and take pictures myself. So, you know, potential's huge. You know, you have so many uses you can put these photos to. It's unbelievable. It really, really is. So, you know, I just wanted to show you that we're not just limited to the United States of America. Most countries will have government-run sites that contain public domain photos of that country. All you got to do is find them. You can even phone your government offices and ask them, and somebody there will come back to you and say, yep, it's here, go to it. So, you know, come and have a look at and find the information you want, find the pictures, use them however you want. But, you know, you've got potential, a lot of potential, to use these public domain images in a wide variety of uses. So, you know, let your imagination run riot and just give these a go and have a look through them, because you're going to be quite stunned, I think, when you realise just how much information's out there. I am warning you, you are likely to sit there and just feel your brain turning to mush when you think about the number of different possible applications, the potential, and how much there is. So, you know, before your brain does turn to mush, watch the last video in this program. It will just help you focus and give you an action plan on how to take steps forward in order to actually make money from public domain materials. We're now going to talk about one of my favourite sources of public domain materials. Many of the sites we talked about up to now have been, a lot of them have been things that are quite old, things that are from the past. Now, the world's governments, every single country will have sites like this. I'm going to focus on the USA site, but your country will have similar information. How much? Who knows really, it depends upon the country you're in. You're going to have to dig around to find it. But basically, governments all over the world produce reams and reams of information every single day. They produce reports and all sorts. But what they don't do is, much of it isn't actually copyrighted. It's in the public domain. So the people own it, which means basically you can do what you like with it. Some of the reports, if they're produced by an external consultant, will be copyrighted. But the majority of it isn't copyrighted. So that means you can do what you like with it. So you can come along here, we can type in a search. So we're going to search for loans, and it will come up with lots and lots of websites within the US government that's about loans. So you can see here, there's a government loan program site there, and so on and so forth. So you can see there's quite a bit of information there. Direct consolidation loans. So all sorts of information there to help you basically if you want to find loans. So you can see that you can come here and you can search for your keywords, and you can find public domain information that you can then take and use as is on your website, or you can edit it and create unique content from it. You could create reports, you could create anything you want, really, anything, absolutely anything. But there's some very, very valuable information here, and I use this information to create myself websites. If I'm creating a website on loans, I would have some articles written, I'd have some books or something like that written, or purchase some books to sell, and then I'd come along to a site like this, and I would go through these sites, I'd find relevant information to the niche I'm targeting, and I would use that on my website. Either I would use it as is, or I might edit it. It will depend on the information, but there's a lot here, an awful lot that you could use and profit from. So your taxes are paying for this information to be produced, so you might as well use it and make good use of it. You can see you've got frequently asked questions here. You've got links to all the forms, so you can either copy the forms onto your website, or you can link direct to the federal forms here. You'd have to check exactly what's sure. You can look at federal aid and so on. So a lot of different ideas here, but the main thing is a lot of this information isn't produced by your $2 for 500 words article writer. It's produced by government experts. I mean, these are top scientists, top brains, top politicians are producing this sort of information. So you can access this and use it. So basically you get access to high quality top writers for pittance, for nothing, absolutely nothing. Your taxes are paying for it. So have a search and find the information you want, because a lot of this is freely available. I mean, for example, if you look for information on, say, a bankruptcy, it's a big subject at the moment with the economic climate. There's companies that will offer to sell you all sorts of information to help you go bankrupt. But basically what they're doing is they're giving you information that is freely available from the government websites. It's just the government websites don't know how to rank in the search engines. So when you type in "how do I go bankrupt," for example, in the search engines, the government site doesn't appear, but all these other sites that are saying "I'll do it for you for a fee," they appear because they understand search engine optimization. But in many cases, all they're doing is presenting you with information that is freely available from a government website. So have a good look through, because there's an awful lot of ideas here for you and a massive amount of information. Okay, now here's another one, govspot.com/news/reports. It's basically lots and lots of reports from the government, and you can see there's all sorts of subjects. So again, if you are looking to create a site on children's well-being, you can get statistics and all sorts of information here. So you can use even the information here. You could take statistics and other information from these websites and use them in your sales material. If you had a statistic from this that over 50% of children live with at least one working parent, that really can add some weight to your sales letter. So, you know, you can look at the education comparison and so on. You know, this is obviously, it's a United States website. But what you can do is this information, these reports could be used on your website. They could be used as web content, as giveaways. They could be used to enhance the value of a book that you're writing. So if I'm writing a book about looking after children, I may well come here, download some of the reports and read them and use them as ideas for content or as references in order to really give my book that weight and value in the eyes of the people who read it. So it's worth your while coming and having a look through this site and finding some of the bits and pieces that are here. I mean, there's information on grants, for example. I know that's a huge topic that people pay lots of money for. Education, employment, health, and so on. So you can see there's you know, lots and lots of stuff here that you could use for your website to do pretty much whatever you want with. So, you know, have a good look through this site and see what you can find. And here's just one more for you. This is the NTIS. It's the National Technical Information Service. Again, it's a United States website, but it has lots and lots of reports and information on it. It basically they compile statistics and do all sorts of, you know, big brain stuff in a sort of office somewhere with no windows. So you can see, you know, if you were doing a website about immigration, you could come here and there's a yearbook of immigration statistics that could be valuable information for you. And there's all sorts of other technical reports and so on here that you could potentially use. You could do a search here and find the information you're after. So, I mean, we've only touched on a couple of government sites here, but, you know, there is so much information produced by the governments that it's crazy. It really is. I mean, you think about the United States, there's I don't know how many hundreds of millions of people live there now, but there's tens of thousands of people that work for the government that basically spend their life creating reports that go into the public domain to sites like this, so that people like you and I can use them to turn a profit. Now, a lot of potential sits here. It really does. I mean, we've looked at over the last few videos video and books and audio and images, and you can see there is so much available for you to use. There really is. What I would recommend is just have a think about what you need it for. When you come to create a website, okay, don't go searching through some of this stuff and because you'll get lost. You could easily get lost if you look through this. Unless you're looking at sort of the audio, video and public domain books, what you want to do is actually have a website idea and then come to sites like this to find information to back it up again. Statistics like these will be very powerful in a sales letter. So you know, you can use this to enhance your sales letters, enhance your books on your websites. You can use them as website content and so on and so forth. I mean, you can use them as ebook content or whatever it might be, but there is a massive amount of information here that potentially could make you an awful lot of money. So I would strongly recommend that you spend some time, just go through these sites, have a look, understand them, understand what they have. Yeah, just set aside a couple of days and say, right, I'm not going to do anything else, I'm just going to look through these sites. Get your head around them and what's in them, because then once you've done that and you're creating websites in the future, you will know what's available to you in the public domain that you could use, and it'll help speed up your website creation. So yeah, massive potential. There really is. I mean, I can't tell you how much you could earn from public domain. I mean, people do earn six figures just from public domain materials. They really can. I mean, some years back, I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Yannick Silva. He had a business where every 6 months or so he'd release a CD of public domain books, basically, or a DVD. I can't remember which, but there'd be 100 or so, maybe several hundred public domain books and images and stuff like that. And he would say, right, I'm only releasing 1,000 copies of this to the general public. So he'd only sell 1,000 copies, but each one would set you back $500. So, you know, you can see instantly how much he earned from it using it that way. I don't know whether it's still done now, but there's a lot of potential for you to use these public domain materials and create some really, really neat products and services that, you know, could make you a lot of money. I mean, that's just one way that it's been used, but people use public domain materials to create AdSense sites, reports, ebooks. They sell them to business builders. I mean, you could create you know, business in a box, you know, in various niches with some of the material here, and sell them to business opportunity seekers for quite a substantial sum of money. So, you know, there's a lot you can do with this, and you're going to have to step outside your box a little and really think about what you can do, what you want to do with it. I mean, you can do anything with it, but what do you want to do specifically? I think that's the question that you need to ask yourself when it comes to this. So this is all the government information. Remember, NASA's in the government. A lot of their information is in public domain, pictures and so on and so forth. So, you know, you can use that as well. But this gives you an idea of the breadth of information available to you to pretty much do whatever you want with. So, you know, huge, huge, huge earning potential for you. Now, you've learnt a lot about public domain in this video series. Now, the potential is huge. It really, really is. There's massive earning potential for you. You're pretty much limited by your imagination, so you can take this wherever you want. Now, as a brief summary for you, anything before 1923, public domain. Do what you like with it. 87% of works between 1923 and 1989 are in the public domain, but you will have to check the copyright with the Copyright Office to be 100% sure. 13% of works are not in the public domain, and you don't want to pick up one of those. Anything released after 1989 is only in the public domain if it is specifically released into the public domain, and it will tell you that it is public domain or that it's under a Creative Commons or whatever license that it might be. So be aware of that. So, you know, you've got to make sure that it's in the public domain if it's after 1989. You've got to be 100% certain. If for whatever reason you are not 100% certain, check, be sure, and be safe, because it's going to save you problems down the line. Many of the government publications are in the public domain, but some government publications produced by consultants and third-party companies are not in the public domain. So you need to be aware of that and check to be sure. Again, it will say copyright whatever if it's copyrighted. If it's not copyrighted, it will tell you and you will know. So just be sure. Now, we've talked about a lot of different potentials here. I mean, you've got, you know, a couple of dozen, maybe more potential, you know, 5-6 figure businesses a year here in this video series. Massive potential for you. And it's very, very easy for you to be overwhelmed by the sheer amount of potential opportunities that we've presented you in this video. I mean, really, it is. So, you know, don't be overwhelmed by it. I mean, I know you may be sitting there now thinking, oh, do I do this? Do I do that? Do I do the other? Do I do this? Oh, what do I do? The potential is huge, I know, and it's very easy to get overwhelmed. So what you need to do is just pick one method and one niche. You know, decide you're going to take public domain books and make AdSense sites out of them, for example. Decide you're going to take public domain videos and create DVDs out of them, whatever it might be. Pick one and stick to it first of all. Take action on it. You know, get the websites up there, get the books edited, get the DVDs burnt and the covers designed, whatever it might be. Take the action. Make it profitable. Get it making money for you, and then move on to the next method, move on to a different method, and that way you will succeed. If you run in and say, well, I'm going to start with DVDs, oh, well, actually these posters look good, oh, these pictures look good, oh, this audio recording look good, you're not going to make anything. You're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to make any money. So focus on one thing and one thing only, and you can build a 5 or even 6 figure business from public domain materials. I mean, there are literally, as I said, dozens of 5 and 6 figure business ideas in this video series. I mean, potential huge really, really huge. But you have to stay focused to maximize your profits. Don't dance around between different niches, different subjects, different methods. Stick to one and one only, and that way you are far more likely to actually make some money from the public domain materials. The potential here from public domain, truthfully, is absolutely limitless. There are millions of potential works that you could edit, millions of potential works you could sell, millions of potential works you could do anything you want with. So think about it. So, you know, you've got a lot of information here, you've got a lot of websites now, you've got a lot of methods by which you can earn decent money. So pick one, take action on it, stay focused, make it earn for you, and then you will succeed. The potential here truly, truly is endless, and now it's over to you to take action and make it happen. And we look forward to hearing about how successful you are with public domain materials. Public domain is materials that anybody can use for pretty much anything they want to. You can find public domain books, videos, audio, radio recordings, adverts, newspapers, magazines, and so on and so forth. Public domain is a very, very unique concept for you, the internet marketer. You see, public domain isn't only, you know, really, really old stuff, you know, black and white movies, very old books written in archaic language. Public domain's often more modern stuff as well. Did you know, for example, that pretty much every government in the world produces tons and tons of public domain material every single day that you can use? You can create websites from it, you can create books, you can create videos, you can create training programs, you can pretty much do what you like with it, and it's being created for you by world-class experts. So there's many, many modern works that you can use. Think about many scripts and pieces of software. They're published under a license that allows other people to distribute them, change them, and update them. There's many pieces of software that have been based on earlier versions of publicly available software. For example, there's a piece of software called by Boonex called Dolphin, which is for social networking sites, and that is based on a previous version that was released into the public domain. So there's many, many opportunities like that as well, to take a public domain piece of software, add bells and whistles to it, make it even better, and then you have a product you could sell. As an internet marketer, public domain materials are extremely profitable. You can get so much from this, and it's free. You know, you may be struggling getting writers, getting people to give you decent quality articles, but you can go onto many of these public domain sites and you can find high quality, really, really good information that's written for you by world-class experts in top-notch, perfect English that's free. Absolutely free, won't cost you a penny to access. So you can see this is really, really something you want to be considering to use. There are a lot of people who very quietly make a lot of money from public domain materials. Now, there are those that are not so quiet about it. Walt Disney, for example. Did you know that many of Walt Disney's books and movies are based on public domain books? Snow White, Cinderella, many of these are public domain, which means anybody can go and make a version of Snow White, and there is nothing that Walt Disney can do about it. Now, what the story of Snow White isn't, it is in the public domain, so it can't be copyrighted, but Walt Disney's version of it can be copyrighted. So you do need to realise that not everything that's based on a public domain material is in the public domain. For example, Think and Grow Rich, very well known book, it's in the public domain. You may not know that. However, if I produce a version of it and I change it, it's no longer in the public domain. It's my copy and I can copyright it. So you need to make sure that you get hold of an original version that is actually in the public domain. You too could join the ranks of people who are earning pretty much as they want to from public domain materials. Now, this course is going to be a really good introduction and investigation into public domain. What I'm going to do in this course is show you how to identify if something is public domain or not. That's very, very important. Try and publish something that isn't in the public domain. you could end up with a lawsuit on your hands, which obviously will not be pleasant. You're going to understand exactly what is public domain. Again, very important that you understand these concepts. You're going to discover some of the uses for public domain works as well, how you can use them to make money. Now, you may think, well, yeah, NASA's got a database of millions of pictures. What's the point? Well, there is a point, and a very profitable point. We're going to talk about that throughout this course. So you're going to understand how to use all these sites to make money. You're going to see, and I'm actually physically going to show you places where you can find public domain books, video, audio, photos, reports, and much, much more. So I'm really going to show you actually where to find these. I'm not going to tell you, oh, go off and Google it. No, that's not the right way. I'm actually going to show you sites, and these are probably sites you don't know about, where you can make a fortune from any one of these sites. All you've got to do is be creative. I'm going to show you how to use all of this free material and really, create a stunning business online. You can be earning, 5 and 6 figures from public domain materials. The potential is huge. And what I'm also going to share with you in this course is I'm going to share with you a source of brand new public domain materials that's being produced for you every single day, and how you can access that. So you may want to get a pen and paper. You may want to fire up your internet browser ready to see all these websites. It's up to you, but we're going to cover a lot of information, so be prepared. Public domain isn't difficult if you think about it and you're logical. Now, we're going to talk about this, and in the next video we're going to start explaining what is in the public domain and what isn't, so you can understand what you can and can't use. A public domain work is any work that isn't owned, i.e. copyrighted, by a group, an individual, or a corporation, or even, in some cases, a government body. So that basically anything that nobody owns a copyright to is in the public domain. Now, public domain works can be used for anything. Now, Frankenstein, that's in the public domain. You can create a book from it, a movie, whatever you want to it. Cinderella, that's in the public domain. The works of Mozart, that's in the public domain. You can record the works of Mozart. You can publish the sheet music, etc., etc. So, you can see you can do anything you want with public domain materials. It's up to you what you do with it. If you publish it as is, you may not copyright it because it's in the public domain. If you edit it, then you can copyright it because it becomes your work, but only if you edit it. Now, you're going to have to really look into the rules. It's all a bit vague, but you need to edit it a bit more than just writing a couple of paragraphs after each chapter in a book, for example. You need to do a little bit more significant editing. If you just added a little bit to try and make it yours, then you're going to struggle to get that through sort of as a unique work. So think about that. But every single country has different rules on public domain. Now, it is worth checking what is in the public domain in your country. Now, whichever country you're in, you're likely to have what's called a copyright office. Most countries will have one. All you need to do is phone them up, go in and visit, write to them, whatever, and ask them what the copyright rules are. It varies from country to country as to what is and what isn't, so you need to be aware of that. But what we're going to focus on in this video is the rules in the USA, as many of us may not be in the USA, but much of our target market is in the USA. However, do focus on a local country if that's relevant to you. Now, any work that's published before 1923 is definitely in the public domain. Absolutely, it's copyright free. You can do what you like with it. Now, anything published between 1923 and 1989 are copyrighted, protected, but only if they completed the copyright registration. So that means they've had to go and apply physically for copyright. Now, that's a long time. That's, what's that, 60 years, 65 years, 66 years. So there's a lot of works produced in there. Think about it. The works of the Beatles are in that time frame. Elvis Presley, the speeches of Winston Churchill, for example, and so on and so forth. So, there's millions of works published between that time that may be in the public domain. Now, the way to check if something's in the public domain is get the Library of Congress number, whatever it might be, contact the Copyright Office and ask them if it has been renewed or not. They'll be able to give you the definitive answer. Now ideally you want it in writing from them, because then if there's a legal case further along the lines for any reason, you're covered. Now anything that was created after 1989 is copyrighted by default unless it has been specifically distributed in the public domain, in which case it will tell you that it's in the public domain. I personally wouldn't touch anything after 89 unless it does say this is in the public domain in big letters at the bottom of it. You've just got to be safe. You've got to be sure that you don't want to take someone's work and think, great, fantastic, I love this work, I'm gonna publish it, and then realise that the copyright's still owned on it, get sued to pieces and lose everything. It can get really, really nasty. You know what people are like with copyright. Now, if the works that you're looking at are between 1923 and 1989, you do have to research. As I said, the Copyright Office will be able to tell you if it's been renewed or registered, and if it hasn't, it's in the public domain and you can go, woohoo, I found a moneymaker. As I said, there's a potential gold mine of opportunity. Think about it. Think about how many millions of works there are between 23 and 1989. I mean, awful lot. But before that, there's hundreds and hundreds of works, thousands, millions even of works as well that you can potentially use to earn money from. Think about it. People like to have nice pictures of maps on their wall. You could go and find a map from the 1700s of the county, the state, the country that someone lives in, and sell it to them. Put it in a nice frame, print it nicely. You can charge a couple of $100s for it. There are millions and millions of works in the public domain that you could profit from. So, the potential here is huge. Now, here's an interesting statistic for you. Approximately 87% of all works between 1923 and 1963 are in the public domain because copyright wasn't renewed. So that's 40 years, there's only 13% of works were copyrighted and renewed. So there's a massive amount of material there that's in the public domain. All you need to do is do your research and find out if it actually is. So potential massive, absolutely massive for you. So now you have an understanding of what's in the public domain. It's always worth, if you've got any doubts, check with the Copyright Office and make 100% sure. I said there's lots and lots of stuff that definitely is, but if you're not quite sure, check. You must do this because otherwise you could find yourself in legal hot water, which of course is the last thing that you want. So what are some of the uses for public domain material? Well, you could take a book and publish it as is. You could create a new edition of it, you could edit it, you could provide a commentary on it. All of that will work very, very well. If you provide a commentary and adjust the book, edit it, then you've created a unique product and you own the copyright of it. If you don't, then that's fair enough. You don't need to. But you can just take Think and Grow Rich, for example, and publish it. And there you are. You have a brand new product you can sell. You can either sell it through a site such as Kunaki as a print on demand, or you can print a lot of copies and take them to trade shows or sell them on eBay or whatever it might be. So a lot of potential there for you. Now, you can either sell the book as a physical or as an ebook. There's nothing wrong with converting it into a PDF file and selling it like that. That's perfectly acceptable. There's lots and lots of potential there. Now you can take photographs, old photographs and old adverts, advertising posters and so on, and you can use those as posters for people's walls. People love retro posters on their walls, don't they? Or you could use them for advertising. The old, do you remember the Uncle Sam I Want You adverts, from the war? You could use that and, adjust the picture, take the U off and put whatever you want on. Perfectly acceptable to do. It's in the public domain. Now, if there's an audio recording, for example, old radio shows, old musical recordings, or whatever it might be, you can take those and convert them to CDs and MP3s and sell them, on eBay, offline, through a website, whatever it might be. But there's potential there as well. Many of these recordings literally only exist in this old format. Burn them onto CD, create a nice cover for them, make it look good, sell it as a professional product. You can make money from that. Take old videos, for example. You know, really old, Buster, is it Buster Crabs that did Flash Gordon many years ago? Take those videos, the video recordings, convert them onto DVD. There are thousands and thousands of old movies and TV shows that are in the public domain that are not available on DVD, that people would pay good money to buy. You could do that. I mean, heck, you could even find these old videos, shove them into a membership site, some every week or every month, and sell that to internet marketers and the Make Money Brigade. People would buy it. They can get the videos, put them onto DVD, and make money from it. Anything that's in the public domain, you can make into something unique. You could take the story of Snow White and make your own version of it. You could write a film script based around the story of Snow White. There's perfectly acceptable. There's nothing Walt Disney can do about it. The story of Snow White is in the public domain. So think about that. You can then copyright the unique work that you've created. And the other option is you can use a public domain product as a basis for a complete new product. You could take half a dozen public domain fishing books, for example, put them all together, squidge them around a bit, and out pops a brand new product. You can use them as bonuses as well. Let's not forget that. That's a good use of the products. You could sell them as bonus materials to your main unique product in that niche. Many people who have an interest in the niche love old products and old books or whatever it is about that niche. People will collect them because it gives them an insight into the past and nostalgia and all that. And nostalgia is big business. It really is. So think about that as well. I mean, one thing that is very successful is to take a public domain book, for example, turn it into an AdSense or other advert-based website. That will work really well for you. You can very easily promote that, drive traffic to it and earn from the AdSense clicks. Maybe even sell a physical copy of the book or an audio copy or a training course based around the book, whatever it might be. Lot of potential there for you. You could turn it into a training program. A public domain book entitled, I don't know, How to Improve Your Fly Fishing in 7 Days, for example. Turn it into a training program. Very easy to do. The potential here is huge, and what I'm trying to do is get the cogs in your brain turning, so you sit there and think, wow, potential. There's a lot of potential here for you. You can also take a public domain book, for example, and convert it into an audio book. Get someone to read it out, and there you are. You've got an audio book. You can publish it on iTunes or whatever you want. You could convert it into a video series. Can you turn it into a video training program? That's perfectly acceptable as well. There's nothing wrong with, for example, in the fly fishing or fishing niche, for example, create an online, nostalgicfishingbooks.com, that sort of thing, where you've created an online niche store which is based around old public domain products. You put in posters and videos and pictures and etc. All that sort of thing will appeal massively to people in that niche. People love that. Think about it. When someone gets into golf, what do? They buy everything they can lay their hands on about golf. They want to know everything, do everything, see everything, have every single thing possible to do with golf. So think about that, okay? Think about these niche stores. Very profitable potential. You can create posters and pictures, frame them nicely, sell them online and offline. NASA do some lovely photos. Take those photos, and they're in real, high resolutions. Take those pictures, print them out, frame them nicely, sell them through eBay, sell them offline, get them into stores to sell, whatever it might be. Massive potential there. People love those. As I said, think about the old advertising posters. Billboard posters in the underground and tube and metro stations, things like that. People love those. I remember years and years ago when I was at university, it was the in thing for people to do, to get those old posters and put them on their walls. People still collect them and love to get hold of them. You dig those out and sell them, you'll have a market keen on buying them from you. The DVDs of old movies, think about it. How many people are there over the age of 50, 60 that remember the movies and TV shows from their childhood, that they can't get hold of. Nostalgia sells. They would, they would see these DVDs, instantly want to buy it. They pay good money for it as well. And you're meeting a need. You're giving them a taste of their past, reminding them of pleasant times, and they're giving you money. Fantastic. Now remember, don't limit yourself to selling online. Lots of potential for selling these offline as well. Pretty much here, you're only limited by your imagination and your ingenuity. There is so much you can do with public domain materials. It's not even real. It really, really is. I mean, we've gone through a lot of information here on what you can do with it, but this is only scraping the surface of it. There is so much more you could do if you just think about it. But if you remember this, and I'm going to say it again, I've said it in every video so far, and I'll probably say it in every video in the rest of this series. Always check the copyright first and be absolutely certain, because you do not want to violate copyright. Just think about the Movie Picture Association of America. They're like rabid dogs. If you upset their copyright, they'll be on you, tearing your legs off. They are vicious, and many companies are very, very protective of their copyright. So if you check and you make sure and you've got it in writing, you're protected. That way you're absolutely sure. But if you do that, there are millions and millions of potential materials for you out there that you can use to profit from, and I seriously mean millions. There's more than you can imagine. There's more than you could probably ever use in your entire lifetime. There's that many out there. So think about it. Think about when we go through all these videos next and we start showing you where to find public domain materials. Let your imagination run riot and take some action with it, because you can earn massive amounts of money. It doesn't matter whether if you're into say you're into trains, you may go and find old movies of trains and pictures and posters and books, etc., etc., put them all together in collections and go round train fairs, fairs where people who are into trains gather, and sell them offline. That might be heaven for you. You never know. But there's lots and lots of potential there. You can create the business that you want from these public domain materials. So massive potential. But remember, always check the copyright and just let your imagination run riot. The potential will stun you here. When it comes to finding public domain materials, there are many potential resources that you could use. Now, online there are hundreds of websites that will give you information on public domain materials. You just have to find them. In the next few videos we will talk about these websites and how you can use them to find public domain materials and what's on each one of them. We've broken the next set of videos down into categories, so we're going to talk about books and audio and video and graphics and so on, so you can have a look at some of the websites. We're not going to go through all of them because obviously there's a lot of websites. We're just going to talk about some of them, but there's many different resources online. It's much safer to use a known site rather than to type something into Google and hope you can find some public domain resources from there. Now, yeah, you may be able to find some, but the chances are you're not going to find as many as you want to. So just be aware that there are many, many different resources, and obviously anyone can publish anything online. So, just because somebody says it's public domain online doesn't mean it necessarily is. You may want to double check just for your safety. Now, shocking statistic, something like 90% of adults do not have library cards. Well, let me tell you something, go out and get yourself one, because libraries are a valuable source of public domain works. They have lots and lots of books and magazines and so on, and in there you can find public domain materials that you can use. They have archives, they have access to government publications and so on. They do sales as well of old books. You can often pick up some bargains there, public domain material for a pittance, an absolute pittance. Now look offline as well. There's many, many bookstores offline, particularly second-hand bookstores. You will find old books in. If you can find places that do house clearances or estate sales or something like that, then often you can find some public domain materials there that you can use and make money from. Now, a great place to find cheap public domain works is at places like thrift shops, second-hand bookshops, garage sales, car boot sales, tabletop sales, whatever it might be. Anywhere where people are selling things they don't want anymore, you can find some cheap public domain works. Now, personally, I went to over in England we have a event called the car boot sale, which is basically you drive into a big field with your car, you put out some tables, you put all the junk you don't want on the table, people coming along offer you money for it. Basically it's like a garage sale but in the field and lots of people all together. So I went to one of these a couple of years back, and there was a guy who had, it was obviously his mother's book collection, and I had a look through the books, and they were basically all very, very old Christian books, Christian religious books, and they were all sort of late 1800s, early 1900 books. And I sort of said, well, yeah, I'd love to have those books. How much do you want for them? And basically, for, I think it was 24 books that were in the public domain, guaranteed in the public domain. These were, first editions, old books, publication date pre-1923, so definitely public domain. He charged me the equivalent of about $2.50. Now, said books I've had typed up, I've put onto the internet, they're on a website, and they earn me money day in and day out. I earn, $10, $20 a day from AdSense. It's not a fortune, but it adds up, and considering it cost me, $2.50, it's not bad, is it? So you can find some really, really good deals at these places. You just got to look. You've got to be persistent. You're not going to walk into your first thrift shop and stumble upon a gold mine of public domain materials. You might not. What you tend to have to do is be persistent. If you go in a few times, get to know the people that run these sort of places, and just say to them, look, if you ever get anything from this age, let me know. I'll buy it from you. Or I'd like to give you first offer on it. I'll give you a good price. And quite often they'll just put things to one side and or give you a call. I mean, I've had people do that for me. And you can often get hold of some really, really good material very, very cheap. Very, very worthwhile you doing this. It really, really is. So please think about it. You can get out from in front of your computer and go and hunt around shops and places. You can find some fantastic deals and fantastic bargains. Now, there's also companies, and we'll talk about one or two of these in a little while, but they're rare book search companies. Basically, if there's an out-of-print book that you want to get hold of, these guys will go and find it for you. And obviously they do it for a fee, but often it's not particularly high. You can pick up a 1901 copy of something or other for sometimes less than $20. So it's not expensive. So it's a great way of getting a decent book that you can then copy, transcribe onto the internet and use to sell or whatever you might want to do with it. But remember, again, fourth time I've said this, it's obviously very important. Always double check the publication date and the copyright information. You want to be 100% sure that it is in the public domain and that it is something you can sell. The reason being is, as I said, people are viciously protective of copyright. And they will come after you, they will shut you down, they'll sue you, they'll do all sorts of horrible things. They can be very, very nasty. Just by making sure it's in the public domain, you're protecting yourself. Now, one way to find your public domain material is the resources that we're going to talk about in the next few videos. So the next few videos, you're probably going to want to have a web browser open. You may well want to get a pen and paper so you can write down the details of the videos. The websites we talk about in the videos, just so that you can go back and look at them, because you're going to love these websites, and you're going to be seeing dollar signs in front of your eyes when you see them all. Now, one thing to consider and remember is that a basic rule of thumb is the rarer the public domain work, the more potential value it has. So, a book that has never been seen before in the public domain that you've dug up from somewhere, it's obviously going to be worth a fortune compared to a book like Think and Grow Rich that you can pretty much get on any street corner. I mean, there is value to Think and Grow Rich, and certainly you can sell it and make money from it. But a public domain book that's in a hot niche that no one's seen before, it's worth a lot of money. So it's worth your while spending time digging through these sites. Don't just open the first page and go, yeah, that'll do, and off you go. Dig around, do your research, spend some time, because you will find little gold nuggets that you can make a lot of money from if you do that. You have to do some searching quite often. You're going to have to dig around, you're going to have to visit lots of bookstores or go through archives online or whatever, but you can find fantastic information there to use. And it is worth doing. I mean, you can outsource this. You don't have to do it yourself. You can outsource it, but it's worth doing because you can earn very, very well from it and make a lot of money. I mean, people do make 5 and 6 figure incomes from this. So yeah, it's not a bad work to do. Now, of course, you know, there's many other more common works that people are more familiar with. Now, you can sell those and repackage them and, you know, basically edit them or whatever you might want to do, and still make money from those as well. You don't have to go and try and find something super rare that no one's ever seen before. Any of the more popular works, you know, as I said, you can package together things like Think and Grow Rich, The Science of Getting Rich, and The Art of Money Getting, and books like that. They're in the public domain. You can package them together and create a, you know, a money mindset or millionaire mindset set of books. So yeah, there's lots and lots of potential there. There really, really is. But the next few videos, I want you to sit and watch and think, because there's going to be a lot of information in them. We're going to show you some good sites, and you're going to sit there and really, really get some great ideas from it. So please just think about those. So yeah, let your imagination run riot. Go through the websites yourself, search, have a look, and just see what you can find, because the potential is massive. There are a number of different places online where you can find public domain products and books, and this is one of them. It's projectgutenberg.org. It's a project started some years ago, and the whole purpose of it is to copy public domain books into electronic format to make them available to pretty much anyone and everyone. Now you can see here that there's books in various different languages, and there's the ability to look up X, Y, and Z's, the alphabet. You can look at top 100, search the database, and so on. So it's actually very, very interesting. You can find an awful lot of books and information here. So if we just have a look at the top 100 list, you'll see what I mean. Now you can come here and you can see what's the top. Well, the top book is The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. That's obviously in the public domain. Now, why would that be number one at the moment? Well, that would be because the Sherlock Holmes movie, the new one by I think it's Guy Ritchie, has just been released. So of course everyone's going, I want to find out more about it. But you can see here, so there's lots and lots of these stories: The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, Pride and Prejudice, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, Huckleberry Finn, Christmas Carol, etc., etc. So there's lots and lots of good stories here that you could do something with, something really, really good. So you can see these are the popular ones. If we go down, you can see, you know, up to 100. There's lots and lots there. But you can see here you've got the top 100 authors as well. So you can look at the authors. You can look at all them. You can look at the top 100 ebooks in the last 7 days. The last 30 days as well. So you can see there's a lot of information in here for you. A lot of different types of books that you can look up. And of course you can search as well. You can do a search by title or author, and you can search through letter names. If you spend some time here, I pretty much guarantee you could find several hundred really, really good products that you can use. So you can, you know, really, really use this well. They also, if we search somewhere, they also do some audio books. I'm not entirely sure where the link is for that, but they've started as well converting books into audiobooks here and here. But you've got compilations, you've got recorded music, sheet music, other recordings, and pictures. So they've actually now branched out from just plain old books into all these other categories as well. So they suddenly become actually very, very good for you, very powerful. There's a lot more opportunities here for you. So you can see here, these are some of the red ones. You can see you've got Aesop's Fables, and these are all in the public domain. So you can do things with them. Yeah, there's Beowulf there. There's a couple of the biblical books. So you can see lots and lots of potential with this site. You can pretty much do what you want with it. So yeah, highly profitable potential site for you. So yeah, spend some time here and it's going to blow you away with what you can do. Here's another site that's full of useful information. It's IPL.org. It's the Internet Public Library. So basically you can browse in different subjects here, and you can see it's got a lot of information, and again, a lot of things in here that you could potentially use for help, to create websites, to create products as bonuses, pretty much whatever you want. There's an awful lot of information in here that's potentially very, very valuable to you. I mean, there's lots of other sites like this. You can see they link to sites here, and you can go through these and you can find, there's magazines, there's all sorts. So you can go through here and find some really, really good pieces of information. I did say to you in one of the earlier videos that finding good public domain material does take some work, and it does, to be perfectly fair. It is going to take a little bit of time. However, spend that time, and you can see the resources are incredible, but you do have to spend some time digging around to see what you can find. So you can see there's archaeological information here and so on. So this is another site that you could potentially use to find those little gold nuggets that you can earn from. This is a company called Abe Books. Now, Abe Books are a company that will search for books for you. They're very, very good at finding books, and basically they'll find out of print books, hard to get hold of books. So of course this is a great way of finding books. So you can put in an author here, or alternatively what you could do is you can put in publish date. So let's do 1901 to 1923 and just click find book, and so we've got to put some terms in. So fair enough. Let's put in Napoleon Hill here, Napoleon Hill, and if we do find book, let's see what it comes up with. But this is a way of getting hold of books. So here you are, that are out of print, potentially hard to get hold of, books that are in the public domain that you could make money with. So you can see here, this is a 1982 edition. Obviously they're a little bit modern, but we can go through and you can see there's Think and Grow Rich there. There's many more there with different years. So you can see there's lots and lots of potential here. If you can find some titles of very old books that you want, then I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find them on here. You can see there's many different versions of this from many different years. So these may or may not be what you're after, but certainly you can search through and find various books here that are in the public domain. You can pick up titles that are previous to 1923. If you want to do it simple, you can put in the keyword in the title. So we could put in, let's put in fish, for example. Let's see if that comes up with anything published between those years. It may or may not. So there you are. There's some books there. So again, it's just a search to show you. Birds of other lands, reptiles, fishes, blah blah blah. 1917. Guess what? That's in the public domain. I could purchase that book. It's $1.65. That's nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then I can pay someone a few dollars or scan it so that it's online, and then I can use it to basically make money. Let's have a look. What else have we got? I mean, I can't believe the price of these books. Look, there's another one there. 1917. It's in very good condition. It's a first edition. $3. Yeah, these are guaranteed public domain products. They're previous to 1923. So you can see lots and lots of information. So you can sit here and search for hours. You can order the book. You can then scan it in. You can get with these old books. I should warn you, if you're going to try and turn them into a electronic product, you can either type it in or pay someone to type it in, and that's easily done. You can put an advert on Craigslist and find someone locally to do it. The other alternative is to scan it in, and I don't recommend using a flatbed scanner. If you're going to scan a book in, particularly one of these older books, you want to get a handheld scanner and use that. That would be a lot safer. It's not going to ruin the book, and the last thing you want is to ruin a book that's managed to live for 80 odd years, 80, 90 years. You don't want to damage it straight off. So you can see that, 1913, 1921, 19. Yeah, look at this. How good's this? 1905, a book on cooking. Instant, niche. People love cookery books. And I'm sure that's one that people that are into cookery will be very interested in. People love old recipes. So you can see again lots and lots. There's an old National Geographic magazine there. Engineering economics, What else have we got? We just entered one keyword and it's brought us up almost 2,000 results. So, that's not bad. There's a lot of potential here for you to make money. Again, notes on marine fishes, and more, we could sit here and go through this for hours and hours and find valuable information. I mean, all this description of fishes and the anthropological information, if you like, that could be turned into an AdSense site even. whatsmyfish.com, or spotterfish.com. There's a book on taxidermy there as well. People are into taxidermy. So, you could buy that, scan it, you got a product instantly. So, yes, okay, AbeBooks isn't going to give you books for free, okay? But they're not expensive. I mean, let's face it, this book here, taxidermy book, that cost me $11 delivered to my door if I'm in the USA. I can scan it, put it up onto a website, drive some traffic to it, even if it's just AdSense traffic. I mean, $11, I can earn that back in no time at all. I'm sure if you did a search for taxidermy, you'd find some good keywords and you could get ranking for it. So, you could then search for other books on taxidermy here and see what you could come up with. So the potential is massive. So what I recommend you do, again, is come and search through somewhere like this and see what you can find. Yes, you've got to pay for some of the books, but you're going to get hold of books that probably aren't in electronic format. Many of these are not going to be on Project Gutenberg or any of the other sites that you're going to find. They're only going to exist as physical books. So you can bring these to the internet first of all, and obviously you'll have valuable information that very few other people, if anyone, will have on the internet. And particularly if you edit it, you can make it your own unique product then. So let's look at one more site now for public domain books. And here again is another one. It's similar to AbeBooks. Again, if I put fish in, and if I put a year of 1917 in, for example, no, that was during the war, so at 1908, there's probably more published then, and do a search, you can see there you are. There's a lot more books here. These are a bit more expensive, as you can see. I mean, that's $75 US. I mean, that's quite a bit of money, but again, you could potentially make a lot back from that. It looks like it's in pretty good condition. They don't seem to have quite as much information as AbeBooks, but it's still worth searching. They probably find they have books here that aren't on AbeBooks. So again, yes, you're going to have to spend some money here buying the books, but the best thing of all is you're going to get unique books. You're going to be able to get hold of books that pretty much aren't available anywhere else. Let's take that out of title. Let's put angling in there and let's see what comes up. Let's do a search. Again, 1908 angling. You've got angling and art in Scotland. Various versions there. That's in poor condition. That's £10. That's in good condition. That's 100 UK pounds. That's about $150 to $170. You got a book there about fly fishing, and many more. So you can see that. I mean, here I know for instantly Isaac Walton is a very well known name. He's quite famous. He has the house he was born in or lived in is preserved and is a museum. So again, that's in the public domain. So what we could do is, if we copy that, let's take that off, and let's put his name in there, and then we could pick a century, and let's pick the 20th century. Let's have a look. So you can see there's many of his books here. You got this one here, 1909. Again, you know, Isaac Walton is a well-known character. So yeah, he's the sort of person that, well, maybe you could take his books, that many of them probably are in the public domain. There you are. See, that's the book he's famous for, The Complete Angler, 1947. You'd have to check to see whether this one's in the public domain or not. But you could take his books, create a site about Isaac Walton, and then put all his books on there, history of him, information about his house and where he lived, and all sorts of information like that. And there you are. There, I see that one there, 1909. That one's in the public domain, so you could use that. So you can see, awful lot of potential here for you to create websites and specific niches. As I said, I could create a website about Isaac Walton and about angling, and there you are. I've got a money-making niche. So have a think about these. You know, go through these sites, have a look, because there's an awful lot of potential. Now, before you buy a book from here, check in a couple of the electronic places, because you may find that you can get the electronic version for free without actually having to pay for it. You may not be able to, in which case that's fine. But remember, if you buy a physical copy, you're going to need to scan it. And to do that, you are going to need to have either a hand scanner. You're either going to have to pay someone to do it or pay a company. There are companies that specialise in taking apart these old books, scanning them, and then putting them back together. So you've got a lot of potential here for niches. You know, this is just, we've just looked at books, and already, you know, there's dollar signs coming out of your ears here, as you can see how much potential money you can make. I mean, it's incredible, the potential here for you. So this is all about, you know, how to find books. We're going to talk about how to find other public domain materials in the next few videos. So, you know, just, you know, sit back. I'm sure you're getting excited. You're probably keen. So, yeah, if you want to go and start searching for books, that's fine. You can do that. But we're going to go into some even more information next that's going to really blow your mind and show you how to profit significantly from public domain materials.